Okay, guys, I've had a lot of people asking how to defeat Zuck in hard mode in leagues, so I thought I'd do a little talk through and show you guys what's up. This is a clip from quite a while ago. As you can see, I've got Bandos, I've got Laniake's Spear, I've got a Reaver's Ring admittedly and a full book, which some of you may not have, but honestly that is fine. You can use a Toggle Zo ring, which is arguably better as well. I have an extreme strength potion, and a bunch of restores, some brews, and that's about it really. So, essentially at wave 1, use a couple of Dragon 2Hs. Oh yeah, in your EOF, have a Dragon 2H. Very important. It is nuts. So yeah, ideally Dragon 2H plus a Halberd type weapon would be good. It is passable with just Drygors, but, you know, it is really good to have that extra range if possible. But honestly, if you don't want to get the Laniake's Spear, just get Drygors, it'll work the same. But once again, you know, it's lure all the mobs to the middle, press the Dragon 2H button a little bit, everything dies. So honestly, really, really easy there for the first couple of waves. And then this wave, wave 4, is where the Igneous dudes start. I'm going to stun this guy and, well, apparently kill him very quickly. But then following that, you want to move over in such a way where this guy kind of starts walking up a little bit, because ideally what you want is to have your Dragon 2H be in range of all of these guys. And generally I would recommend staying around and killing that other ranger, because he will hurt you quite a bit. Here, I was many kills in, I was fed up, I was just trying to go fast. So yeah, after you kill that ranger, surge and dive over to the mage. You can devotion if you want to, or need to. And then over to Zuck here. Just make sure you Zerk, press the button, and then just, you know, use anything. Assault, Hurricane, you know, like whatever you have. Dragon 2H perhaps, you can do anything. And then if you still have it up for this point, your Zerk, you can actually just one-shot the entire everything with the D2H, with a Halberd. It may take a bit more for you guys if you're not Zerked, so literally doesn't matter. Just use another 2H over there, that is fine. And then this is when things start being a little bit more important. So just after the first challenge ends, this is where positioning starts to matter a little bit, because on wave 6 here we have a Jad that will spawn up there. And what we don't want is him to ruin our day. So I start this wave in this corner over here. I try and kill whatever rangers I can first, but most importantly, look at that. The Jad is there behind the rock. I make sure I stay over this side. So then the Jad is lured behind the rock. We don't have to deal with him. We finish all of these ranger guys first, with Dragon 2H spec, of course. And then what you can do there, you can take off those melees one by one. I'm a sweaty tryhard, so I basically lured everything, including that little bat you see. I lured him around as well. Obviously, that's quite advanced and risky, but basically I got into the middle of everything and just spammed the 2H. So that was fine. And then on the following wave, it is, well, I'd say fairly similar, but we're camping this corner again. And a really important tip for the Zuck fight here is be aware of what monsters are the most prevalent, like the most common, and kill the ones that are not. So, for example, in this wave, it's going to be majority rangers, and then there's like a random major here. So I'm killing the major first. So then when I've dealt with it, all I have left really is rangers. And as you may notice as well, I'm back down in like this section, which you see this melee at the back. He is stuck behind that rock, can't get to me, happy days. So finish off that major, nice and easy. Dodge the flame wall, and then here I, you know, just kill the bat, and then look at that. Look how many rangers there are up there, which we don't really want too much to do with, but if we can lure them all together somehow, that would be great. Admittedly, I probably should have realistically gone over this side more, because now the melee is chasing, but honestly, that's kind of fine. It doesn't really matter, you just go into the middle, press the 2H button a little bit, and then pretty much happy days after that. I would try and stay away from the melee if possible, but as you can see, we're just dealing with some rangers mostly, so we can keep our prey range on, and that's fine. And then once again, we are over this side a little bit. And same as before, really, like these mages are the least common mob here, so we're killing the mages at the beginning, and keeping that melee guy at the top trapped. bringing everything down when we can. I am trying here to finish off that major because he's causing a major problem. So I want to get rid of him and then, well, just try and group everything up as best I possibly can. Like, all of this movement is for just luring, I suppose. Trying to get everything grouped up in a way. You can Zerk if you want to. I did here. It does make the Dragon 2H a lot stronger, but it does come with its own risk, of course, because you take more damage. But like when doing all this stuff, if you have Bone Shield runes, for example, you can always chuck on a Reflect when you're jumping into the middle of everything, because it can be a little bit scary. And now we, once again, oops, a barge. We have these guys. So ideally you have Greater Barge at this point and can do, you know, like maybe like Barge, Backhand, Assault, and Hurricane or something to get rid of him. And then once again, use a Threshold on this guy, and we're just making sure we're standing in the middle of all of these guys, giving them a good bit of AoE. Again, I am a sweaty tryhard, so I didn't kill all of those guys, but I would highly recommend getting rid of the Rangers. You'll have a much nicer time if you do, because this part over here, this part hurts, especially if there are Rangers on you as well. So I would recommend killing all those Rangers. And then going through there again, you can Devotion if you want to, but coming over here after that, we Zerk, we press the button, and we just, I don't know, press whatever on him. It doesn't really matter too much, but just attack, basically. Attack in some capacity. If you want to wait for your Greater Barge, if you have it, that would probably be quite useful as well. But then we have the big fella here. I recommend a like Fury Overpower or Fury Dragon 2H. You know, you can just like use Dragon 2H specs, finish with a Punish, anything works. And here we have the next Jad's coming up. So I like to get this mage down first, like straight away, and then come into this corner before the Jads spawn. Because what that does is it gives us a nice bit of safety. You see that Jad in the top is trapped behind that rock. The one at the bottom is trapped behind that one. And this lets you get quite a nice clear of all the mages and this melee guy who we've trapped behind that rock there. Do be careful going out though, because that Jad can move and then see you. But it's not too bad here, because I am just kind of bringing everything around to give myself another bit of Dragon 2Hing, as you can see. But do remember, you don't have to do it anywhere near this fast. I am just a very sweaty tryhard, and I was going for PBs, because as you can see on the left, I was 43 kills without a sword, so it wasn't great. Had to make it fun. And then, yeah, this other Jad here doesn't matter too much either. Just, you know, get rid of him however you want to. Doesn't really make a big difference. And then now we have wave 12. So this is where things start to flip around a bit. So now the rangers are the least common mob in these waves. So we want to get down this ranger here very quickly. And then as you can see, this one here, we're hoping to get trapped on this rock. So kill that guy if possible. Get him trapped. Unfortunately here, I guess I was a bit slow or something maybe. So really what you should probably do is cast a Reflect and then run into the middle of everything and then give him a good kablam. I skipped the Reflect, and I was just zerked, and I was relying on my my lifesteal from Melee Relic to sort me out, which is a fine strat as well, but just do be a little bit careful. You know, it's kind of like a don't try this at home, I'm the professional kind of thing, so... But as you can see, the power of just running in and going kablam is amazing. And here again, just right at the bottom, we want to get this ranger down first. Ideally, yeah, barge him, destroy him, just kill him basically. Because then here now, look at that. We've got major, 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 major. So, oh wait, what? Yeah. So what prayer do we use? We pray mage. So we pray mage. I've got devotion active as well, and I've got it extended because I killed a couple of mobs, which is really good. Standing in the middle of these, get that Dragon 2H going on, just absolutely slammer jam them down. And then only problem here is we have now a ranger and a major, but it shouldn't be too bad. We have lifesteal and we have a Dragon 2H, which just goes kablam. It one-shots, it's lovely. It's my favorite weapon in the game. It's delicious. So we finish up him, and then once again we have the exact same situation as before. We get the Igneous guys, we you know, barge them, we stun them, I overpowered them that time, so I could do something different every time. Either way, just kill it and make sure this ranger walks to about here. And then, again, I would recommend killing every single one of these with a bunch of 2Hs before you go to the mage section. But it's really not that bad. And don't be afraid to, use, ideally you have some bone shield runes, so a bit of reflect going on is perfectly fine. Nothing wrong with that. But do remember, if you are melee relic, damage is also safety. So the more damage you do, the more you heal, which is why the Dragon 2H is so good. When you jump into the middle of everything, you can actually out-heal a lot. I've got a clip somewhere where I went down to like 400 HP at one point. I pressed Dragon 2H once and I healed for 10,000 and I didn't even have Soul Spot. It was crazy. And then this part here, we want our shield on, we want to resonance the first hit and then barricade all the subsequent ones. And then it's just a very, very, very free wave. Very free challenge. Bit of a weird one this, but yeah, barricade just completely cheeses it. And then I like to go to this corner personally. Other people prefer different corners, but I like coming just over here. It makes it nice and safe. You get the middle guy first. Don't click too early, but do grab this guy first, and then you just take them on one at a time. So it's really not too bad. There's literally nothing fancy here at all, so I'm just going to kind of skip ahead a little bit. But the final Jad is coming up now as well. We're going for a one-cycle Hurricane here, ideally. If you can't get a one cycle, that is completely fine. Just attack things to try and survive. But the big thing here is we are zerking, and then what we should be doing is actually barging with dual wield. And then you actually don't want to instantly use your next ability. You kind of want to barge and then possibly click off the boss. And then you want to press your vulnerability key, which ideally you have. That's what these runes are for here. If you don't have it, that's fine. This is just, you want to get a vulnerability off on the boss, which will be easier to do with dual wield than 2H, because dual wield attacks faster, which means, well, I should say dual wield has faster attack speed on the weapon, which is usually not relevant, but in the cases of trying to apply a spell, it is. So you want to barge, and then on one tick after you could have cast your next ability, you want to press vulnerability, and then your just regular abilities after that. So here, hopefully... Oh, I didn't do it. I was bad. I barged with a 2H, so already making a mistake, but that's okay. I should at some point... There we go. So I've used my dual wield here, which means after this ability, what I'm probably going to do... There we go, look at that. So the global cooldown comes up. After that comes up, I then click my Vuln, and then I click another ability, and look at that. The Vuln is on the boss, which means we do 10% more damage for a minute, which really does help in getting a one cycle here, so I would recommend trying to learn that if possible. Practice on some combat dummies if you can. If you're using Revolution, you want to essentially click off the boss after you use your dual wield ability. If you're using full manual, you don't have to do that. Let me just rewind a second so you can see that in full speed. So yeah. So attack, and then use a dual wield ability, and then 4 ticks later, Vuln plus ability. And then here we're basically just trying to just do whatever damage we can. This may be, Dragon 2H specs for you guys. It could be, Assaults, Hurricanes, Destroys, Punish is a very good ability once you get it below half. But just do whatever you can to do damage here. It's not too bad, but do dodge the scary things that come flying at you. I'm also now aware that I apparently have overloads instead of extreme strengths, which I think I mentioned earlier, that I had extreme strengths, but apparently I've got overloads, so I guess that's cool. But it literally doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you have. Extreme strengths are at least recommended, though, for a minimum. And then here we have Mr. Zuck. So once again, we are doing the old Zerk. I got the Vuln on Zuck beforehand. And then, yeah, essentially, it's just try and do as much damage as you can. I wouldn't recommend freedoming the first bleed he puts on you. This is like the 14-second thing. Because you want your freedom for later, for the third special he does. So do watch out for that. I would also say you might have seen that little surge dive thing there. Where is it? So coming soon. He does like a melee then a mage hit, and you get this 15 on your bar. This basically means you've got to move 15 squares, otherwise your max HP is going to be drained, which hence the super restores. But in order to counteract that, I'm just surging forwards and diving backwards, and it just gets rid of it instantly. You may get a little mage hit there. He like grasps his hand or something. So yeah, just pray mage if you get that. And this is why we need our freedom. So here I was a bit unlucky when he did the earthquake spec, and I ended up a little bit too close to an earthquake. But what that thing is doing is it's putting a big fiery bleed on me, and that's not nice. So I want to just move out the way of that, press freedom, and then we can properly deal with the big typeless spec there, which admittedly I just full on tanked. But if you want to resonance or debilitate it, you can do that as well. But it's good to not good to not have your HP eaten at that point. So either way, after that, you want to just essentially surge over to this guy, surge and dive, stun him, kill him. Shouldn't be too bad. You've got a lot of accuracy and it's all quite good. And the next mob is going to spawn forwards and left. So this one is the one you've got to use thresholds on, nice and easy as well. And then the third one is one you've got to stand close to, which is also nice and easy. I'm actually just going to speed this up a little bit because honestly it's exactly the same. There is nothing super fancy going on here. It's just, you know, you can meteor strike that guy if you want to, build some adren, vuln the boss again. You know, nothing too bad. And then just do damage. Chances are you're not going to be able to one cycle it like I do in this video, but you know, nothing wrong with going for a second cycle. That is completely fine. Even a third one if you want to, that's completely fine as well. So now we have the final part of Zuck, a little bit anticlimactic in a way, but essentially you kill the pillar down once and then there's a bar above Zuck's head. When the bar fills, you've got to have a defensive ability of some kind up. That could be Resonance or Reflect or Disruption Shield or Barricade or even Immortality if you really want to. I wouldn't recommend that one though. But if you start with Resonance, it should come back up again. So you can do like Resonance on the first and third, then Reflect on the second and... Oh, I think just the second, and then you can Barricade the fourth or something like that. And there you go. You just kill the boss after that. You get a sword, you get a book because the drop rates finally got fixed, and now we can be happy. Hooray! But yeah, that was my little Zuck guide. Hopefully it was useful. I hope you enjoyed this talk through. You know, if you have any questions, please do ask down below. But the big lessons are look for the mobs that are the least common and kill them first. Then you can pray against the rest of them. Don't forget to just spam your Dragon 2H in the middle of everything. It is safer than you think. And yeah, dodge the flame walls and just, yeah, you can do it. You can do it, guys. You can do it. You don't need a massive brain to do this. You don't need to be a Giga God gamer. You can do this, I promise you. So give it a go. Get that Dragon 2H in there and just go to town. But thank you for watching, and I will see you again in the next one.